Do you agree with her on that?
I'm sorry, who said that?
That was said by Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of Michigan.
No, I don't.
Senator Bernie Sanders was asked about a comment that Rashida Tlaib had in response to police brutality that we've been experiencing in this country. And basically, it's just this call to abolish policing, abolish the military, because there is no real way to reform it. It's just toxic to its very core. But Bernie Sanders is not in agreement with that. You should hear the entirety of his statement, so let's take a look.
Your fellow progressive, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, reacted by saying this, and I'll put it up on the screen. I am done with those who condone government-funded murder. No more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed. Do you agree with her on that?
I'm sorry, who said that?
That was said by Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib of Michigan.
No, I don't. I think that what we need to do is to understand that there needs to be major police reform all across this country. We are tired of seeing the same thing week after week and year after year. We do not want to see innocent African Americans shot in cold blood. So I think that is an area that needs significant amount of work, and I hope that Congress begins work on that immediately.
And Bernie isn't the only one who feels that way. Recent polling indicates that the majority of Americans, including the majority of Black respondents to this survey, do not want to abolish police. And many also don't want to simply defund the police. Well, of course, I know that's not what movements like Black Lives Matter are calling for. They want to reallocate some of those resources. Let me give you a few of these results, and then Cenk, I want to hear your thoughts. So only 18% of the respondents in this USA Today Ipsos poll supported the movement known as Defund the Police, and 58% said that they opposed it. The findings are even more fascinating when you break it down by race. So though white Americans, 67%, and Republicans, 84%, were much more likely to oppose the movement, only 28% of Black Americans and 34% of Democrats were in favor of it. Respondents were less opposed to the idea of redirecting police funds to social services, though a 57% majority was still against the idea. 43% of Americans supported the idea. Now, 63% of Black voters supported distributing portions of police funds to social programs, while 35% of white voters do. Cenk.
Yeah, man, this is a very tough one because I think Rashida Tlaib's heart is in the right place, and it's a breath of fresh air to see any progressives in Congress actually fighting on any issue. So I don't want to discourage it. On the other hand, it is very poor framing. So that's just my honest opinion. Okay, so we've talked about defund the police before. So I'm not remotely surprised that it polls horrifically, right? The idea behind it, which is, hey, you know what? We should take some of the funding from police and move it to social services. In fact, some are now suggesting the police be broken up into 3 different parts: people who give out traffic tickets who shouldn't be armed, which is a really good point, people who should do social services and respond to emergencies, and people who respond to crimes. So these are all really great points. But when you say abolish the police or defund the police, people turn off, they stop listening. And you could say, hey, no, that's not fair, and it's not my job to explain my ideas to people. You could say that, but then you'll lose. That's just a fact. If you don't explain yourself and you don't have the right framing, you will lose the media wars, and then you will lose the legislative battles. So it's incumbent upon us as progressives to come up with the right solutions, and then to frame them in a way that is palatable to the American people, and in ways that they actually agree with. But when you say abolish or defund the police, you're gonna lose 80% of America and have no hope of even getting reform. Now, on the other hand, don't get me wrong, corporate Democrats will do nothing. Republicans will exult in doing nothing. So if you just do vague promises of reform, that'll lead to nowhere. That's why this is a very tough issue. But I actually wanna go to one of our viewers because I think they make a very good point. And I think it's a good springboard for constructive solutions. That's why I love doing the show with you guys. TYT.com/join to become a member. and participate in the show. So David wrote in, Cenk, cops kill because of qualified immunity. They're barely ever held accountable. The cities, meanwhile, pay out the nose when the lawsuits or settlements take place. So that's a great point. Now, progressive legislators do know about qualified immunity, and that is one of their top issues, so give them credit for that. But now, how are you gonna take away qualified immunity if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris say, yeah, theoretically we wanna take it away, but we're not gonna do anything about it? Well, you have no choice in politics but to pressure not Republicans, that's pointless, they're not in charge, but to pressure Joe Biden. But that's where progressives fall on their face. I'm being honest. Progressive legislators can do mean tweets, they could do tough things. I don't mean to take anything away from Congresswoman Tlaib because she's a rare, pretty strong fighter in Congress, okay? But when they go, but if you ask them, now go challenge Biden. Sound of silence, okay? So qualified immunity, I don't know, it should have happened on day one, getting rid of qualified immunity. Why are they above the law? Why are cops who have tremendous power and we've empowered them with a badge that gives them that power and a gun, and they kill us all the time without hesitating? Why do they get to be above the law? That's insane. Okay, now the other part of what David said is also important. Here, I'll suggest one change for you that would instantly change every police department in the country in 1 minute flat, okay? And when I say it, that's when like everyone in power go, no, 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 no. And you guys will think it's a perfectly good idea. You ready? When somebody sues after somebody's been shot, like happened in Chicago and Minnesota, in every state, unjustly shot, right? The people who have to pay are the cops who did it. You know what would happen with the cops? Oh, they'd pause. They'd pause before shooting. If you were gonna bankrupt them, the money was gonna come out of their pocket. All of a sudden, I don't know if I wanna do police brutality anymore. I don't know if I wanna kill people right away. Now, when you make this argument, people go, oh, no, you can't do that to the poor police. Nobody will wanna be police if they can't murder without immunity. Well, then they shouldn't be cops. Then we'll get cops who are more careful, right? But when we, the taxpayers, pay for it, the cops don't care at all. The cop unions are thrilled. They're like, yeah, who cares? Pay it. Who cares? Who cares? Go shoot them. Go shoot them. We'll defend you no matter what, right? But if you said to them, you're gonna pay. The guy who did the shooting is gonna pay. His boss is gonna pay. The police union chief is gonna pay. In fact, all the cops are gonna pay. It's gonna come out of the cops' pensions. Heads explode. But if we did that, the problem, I swear to God, would be instantly solved. Unarmed shootings, it would plummet. You'd have 1% of the unarmed shootings you have today.
Yeah, but so far we haven't seen any real robust solutions, as you mentioned, which is incredibly frustrating. A lot of chest puffing over on social media, which is great, I guess, but social media is not legislating. It's just not.
There, we got a poll on who's right, Bernie or Rashida Tlaib. I have no idea how you guys are gonna vote. I mean, I often have no idea, but on that one, double no idea. So go to TURT.com/polls. So you could vote on that poll in the story we just did about abolishing the police.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.